It's Friday evening on what's supposed to be the hottest weekend since 1976, and we've come down to somewhere we've been before. We're back on the islands. We're here till Sunday evening. Let's see if we can get some of these pretty fish that live in here.
It's nearly 9:15. Steve was the last to put his rods in. I saw a little bit of movement over where he's been cast to. And he has a run.
Halfway through putting the bivvy on.
He's literally cast over into that spot there. Right where the channel comes in.
Well, there he is, 8.5 pounds of Islands pretty fish, taken on a hinge stiff rig with the Equinox test bait. Only been having the rods in about 15 minutes. Lovely start. It's looking good for the weekend. Let's slip this one back and see if we can get one of those bigger ones. And off she goes.
Well, 9:15. Steve seems to be on the fish. Same spot.
Not very big. Nice one.
Look at that.
He's a funny little humpy-back thing, isn't he? I don't know what he is. 3 pounds, I suppose. Big enough not to have to go in the keep net, that's for sure. He's one of the ones that was stopped small. Pretty little fish. Second for me. Again on the Equinox, on the hinge stiff rig, made with rig and roll products. Super stuff. He looks like a baby saddlebag from Oak Lake. Well, it's turned into a mad night for me. I've had a little tiny tench, I've got a little tiny carp in the keep net, and I've just had this pretty one. I don't even know what time it is, middle of the night somewhere. I seem to have been up and down all night. Let's slip this one back and see if we can get some rods back out. Well, it looks like the weather forecaster was right. It's only about 8 o'clock in the morning and it's already hot. This is supposed to be the hottest day since 1976. Funny old night. I kept awake with odd runs and bleeps all night. I've got 2 little tiny carp in the keep net because everything under 2 pound goes in the net. I had a little tench. The fish I showed you in the night. I also managed to lose 2. I think we might struggle today in the heat of the day, but we're here and I'm going to give it a go. Floaters and zigs.
It's 8:20. The sun is bright. Steve's just cast out and onto a fish.
Well, that's what the result of that run was, and this is what I was catching in the night. That's 3 of these little puppies going in the keep net. At least it's not very far to the holding pond. Let's slip him in the keep net for Dale to deal with later. Pretty little fish though. Fish of the future.
As you can see, Steve was in the middle of washing his teeth and he had a screamer. He hasn't taken to smoking very long cigarettes.
Definitely on kindergarten control me. Another one for the keep net. They obviously bred well the year before last. Look at the little thing. Isn't he pretty? Well, there's breakfast. And there's cooking and carping breakfast. Nom nom. Yeah, it's up, ran. Have a fight for little fish. Probably never been hooked before, that's why. Looks like I'm going to need a bigger keep net. Well, this one just about makes the required mark go back in. It's just over £3. The biggest of the pasties for the night and the morning. They're all pretty fish though, aren't they? He's got slight damage to his top fin. Have a habit of grunting here, I don't know why. Well, they were certainly right about it being hot. It's almost unbearable to be out of the shade. The only fish we can see are sunbathing on the top, and they're really not interested in eating. Let's hope as it cools off again this evening, we'll have as much success as we did last night. But you know what? It's just such a lovely place to be. It's peaceful. There's no road noise. All you can hear is the birds and the insects, and the carp and the ducks splashing in the water. Lovely.
Okay, we're privileged to be in a position where Barry has brought us some scallops last night, straight from West Bay. Nothing to be afraid of. We're going to have these tomorrow night, so I'm just going to show you quickly how we prep them, because I'm going to do that at home before we leave. So very easily, you've got a rounded part of the shell and a flat part of the shell. We need to run the knife down the flat part of the shell. You have to do this quite quickly, because the scallop will close its shell on you. Shell just breaks off. You're left with this and a clean back. You get a spoon, push it down. The bit where it starts to stick, push hard, and it just plops out. Really easy. So just to repeat that again, we've got the flat part of the shell. He's just trying to shut on me. There we go. Release. Job's a good one. Scoop down. And then you're just left with that. Okay, the result we're looking for is something like that Steve's prepared a few earlier for me. Okay, we've got our scallop, we've got the orange roe there, we've got the crown jewels in the middle, that beautiful white bit that we really enjoy. Very simple, grab that black bit there and push the white bit through and just pull it away. It comes away really neatly. There we go. Then just to pull the roe away, just literally find the end, tear away the sinew, and again it just pulls away this bit really simply. Just needs washing under the tap to remove those brown bits. Just pull away that tube bit and we're left with a beautiful piece of roe. Well, it's been the hottest day of the year. We've survived it by doing very little, and we're thinking we should have some supper. We have down here the scallops that Barry caught for us. We're looking forward to those. We're just going to have a very simple seasonal salad. We've got lamb's lettuce and wild rocket, broad beans, fresh peas, vine cherry tomatoes, courgettes that I'm going to char grill, radishes, spring onions, basil, and some lime that I'm going to put over the scallops. And then cooking, as you can see over here, some new potatoes. So we're just going to put it all together. It's just a few ingredients that I've grabbed in the shop very quickly to go with the scallops and see how it turns out. Okay, Luke and I have potted the peas and the raw beans, so we're just going to, I've got the potatoes over here nearly ready, so I'm just going to chuck them in there to poach just for a couple of minutes, and then they'll be done, so then we'll have them on the salad. Okay, I'm just going to char grill the courgette on the barbecue. So to do that, just need to cut pieces like this. And we'll get those nice stripy lines that you get from char grilling, and they're delicious on the salad. There we go. Okay, we've got a new toy here. It's called a Grill to Go. It's made by Calla. You might have seen it in some fisher magazines, but it's a brilliant, brilliant thing. We've already just got it hot, so it's just a question of putting those on now. I'm looking to get the lines across the courgettes if you're wondering why I'm placing them in a particular way. It'll just take a couple of minutes on both sides now. They're starting to cook now. We're just going to flip them over. As you can see, we're getting the lines now. Parts a lovely smoky flavour onto the courgette as well. So it's not just about visual. I love char-grilled vegetables, they're one of my favourites. They're so good for you as well, because as you can see I haven't bothered oiling it or anything, I've just kept them as they are in the natural goodness. So it's not taking anything away. A couple minutes, they'll be done. Okay, we've got the lamb's lettuce and wild rocket. Just going to put that on the plate now. Okay, we've got our vine cherry tomatoes. Just going to cut those in half. Okay, that's that done. So just some radishes now. Just going to cut those into little wedges. Top and tail, and straight into the wedges. I love different components to salads with lots of interesting things on. This is all very seasonal at the moment in July as well, so it's just nice to use stuff that's in season. Just some spring onion. I'm going to finely slice those. Okay, they go on the plates now. Okay. There we go, okay, they're ready to go on the courgette onto the plate. As you can see, it's starting to look really attractive. So here's the scallops we prepared that Barry gave us before we left home. So they're all ready. Just going to char grill those now. Hot. You don't need very long. waiting.
Still filming. Trying to turn it off now.
Squeeze some lime over. So now I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of lime over the limes. Over the scallops, I mean, even. We'll just impart some flavour into it. You can see they're starting to look done now. See this one's slightly under, I'm just flipping them over. With a slightly pink tinge when they're underdone. These middle ones are ready to come off. Okay, we've just got the new potatoes, which I'm just going to half so they're not too chunky on the salad. And then put some on. We've got our broad beans and peas that we cooked over the potatoes. So I'm just going to add them to the salad now. Those, and finally our scallops. So just going to place those on the top. I'm just going to finish now with what will act almost like a dressing with some fresh lime, and I'm just going to squeeze that over the salad. It should be very fresh and act as a dressing. We have all those different flavours of early summer going on. There we go. One scallop salad with broad beans, peas, tomatoes, basil, char-grilled courgette. Nothing nicer tonight, really. He's a chilly dog.
Early wake up call. Not really the intended species, but one of the rare tench in here. I think there's only 40 in here. I've had 2 already. Pretty fish tench, a lovely red eye. Nice green body. Been a funny old night. We've had a few fish in the night. Margot's had a little one. I've lost one. Everything got all tangled up. I just thought, no, sod it. I'm going to have some sleep. So I left the rods out. Got up at first light and put them back out. I've just lost one and now had to go this morning. Let's see if we can make the most of this before it gets too hot again. Cooking and carp. It's another gorgeous morning. Make the most of this cool early morning hours before it gets too hot. I think when it starts to get really hot, we'll just pack up and go home today. Nothing happened at all during the day yesterday for anybody on here. Old fish have been coming out in the night. but none of the big ones are showing. Fingers crossed, there's still time.
Well, just changed my rods over. New PB for me, £3 tench. First one I've ever caught. Caught on the Equinox. That's made my morning. Lovely little brace I've just caught. One common, one mirror. The future for the islands. Better put them in the keep net.
Off to the stock pond for them. This has been the bane of our life. All weekend. The birds just keep on diving on a bait.
Well, just leapt up because I heard a fish top over where I was cast to. Next thing my rod screamed off and another tench in the bag. There we go. A little bit smaller than the other one.
Pretty little fish, aren't they? Well, it's turning out to be another really hot day. We're sort of started to slow pack down. The bivvy's gone, back to the van, all the cooking stuff's back in the van. Just stopped the day shelter, a few bits and pieces. I'm going to put the rods away and go home. All I can see is it's going to do exactly the same as yesterday. With the sun being so hot, the fish are just coming up on the top and they're uncatchable. They're not interested in the slightest. So we've not really done the place justice, to be fair. We've got lots of small fish. We must have had around 20 fish, most of which being taken out and put into the stock pond, which is part of the management policy here. And we haven't troubled any of the bigger ones really. Seen a lot on the top, we know they're in here. So we'll have to come back another day and see if we can catch Addy or that big mirror. Both of them go around £23, both worth catching. And there's lots of other lovely fish in here. And as you can see by the quality of the small fish, they are absolute stunners. And when they grow big, they're going to be big stunners. So that's it from Cooking and Carping, our weekend at the Islands.